Hello my lovelies, Rob here at Kickback Garage. Today I will be fitting a new tank in my Sledgehammer. Yippee! Right, I've just come home from Mallorca and discovered that I have received 6 parcels. This is for the engine, for the Series 1 that I'm doing at the moment. And this is a big box from Oiltek. Now, the odd thing is that I ordered the Oiltek mid-range tank for my Sledgehammer September last year. And in the end, I sort of gave up that idea. He had problems, Oiltek that is, Polar Oiltek. He had problems trying to find some way he could test fit the Series 1-2 tank, so that he was sure that it was hunky-dory before it went into production. To my surprise, and this is completely true, when I opened the box, I had the long-range tank. I decided in the end, what's the quickest tank that you can make? I said to Oiltek, and they said, long-range tank without the cutout. So I ordered long-range tank without the cutout, and to my surprise, when I take this box apart, I find it has a mid-range tank in there. I'm not sure if this has been modified, but I am going to try my damnedest hardest to fit this, because that means I will be able to behold my toolbox, which is pretty handy when you go touring. As you can see, my bench is a complete mess. I've got 2 scooters and a motorbike in the garage that don't belong to me. But anyway, without further ado, I really need to fit this, because tomorrow I am going away with work, and when I come back I'm going to jump on the scooter, hopefully jump on the scooter and ride to the national rally here in Norway, in Bergen. So I haven't got much time, and that's why I'm up so early, because I want to make this thing work. So this is the mid-range tank. He wants me to fit this and give him some feedback on how it fits. Now, I had some troubles fitting the RT tank. I'll go through that later on, because the Series 1 is a little bit shorter in the loop. The tank has to sit a little bit further back in the frame. And the nice thing about Oiltek is that these things come with instructions. Very nice, thank you, sir. On this video, I'm going to be chopping and diving a little bit, because I have already filmed this video. And I have bought a new to me camera, and the microphone, hang on a second, it shuts itself off. So there's some settings on the camera I don't understand. I have to look into that for the next video, definitely, because when I started editing this, I ended up with footage and no sound. So there you go. Yeah, so that'll explain why I change clothes a lot. But anyway, as you see, behold, before you hear, is the beautiful looking Oiltek long-range fuel tank. And you will know, if you have been following the channel for a while, I ordered a mid-range tank. Now, because of production problems, I asked Oiltek, Polar Oiltek, if he can make me a long-range tank. I would preferably have had one that had the opening at the front here, so I can obviously utilize the toolbox. But never mind, because I have got both the long-range fuel tank and I have got the mid-range fuel tank. The reason why I've got both at the same time is because the mid-range fuel tank is sort of in prototype development, and Paul at Oiltek, he wasn't 100% sure if it would fit. So that's why I ended up with 2. Now, these have changed over the years. I had an Oiltek tank many moons ago. I think when he first started making these. How long ago is it, Paul? Do you remember? Is it 12, 15 years ago? Something like that. And the one that I had, that is still running in another scooter. So that's still alive and kicking. What I can see from memory that is that the bracketry on this is slightly different. I think the rear bracket is pretty much the same. So obviously you fasten this to the bolts under the seat, and you bolt it to the back side here. I think maybe I should swivel it around a little bit so you can see it. That gives it support at the rear, and on the top you've got this fancy this fancy bolt-on bracket here. This, obviously, these screw through your air scoop holes, and then you bolt the tank down. You've got rubber bits in between there. I don't think that's vibration damp. Obviously, it is slightly because of vibration damping, but there are two, so that you can lift it up or push it down. So it gives you some leeway, so that this isn't vibrating on the tank. Another little quirk compared to last time, and this is something he's been working on recently apparently, are these little rubber buffers. So to give more support underneath, he has supplied me with two types of rubber buffers. And what you do, you drill a hole through your original tank supports, the brackets on the tank supports, and to get the height right, he's got these nifty little Pac-Man washers that you. So when you put it in and you you put these in first, obviously fit the tank, and if you need some more height, you can carefully select the amount of washers underneath there, so you can sort of jam them in there, so that supports the bottom of the tank on the rubber buffer. There is also a support I'll show you that looks like this. This is a little shelf with the rubber on the top, and as you can see, it's got like the square nut at the back there. So this fits in the area where you would normally have your air filter box, and you fit that in, slot it in, just let it lie there, fit the tank. When you finish with fitting the tank, you can lift it up and tighten it down just to give a bit more extra support underneath. Now, I've been told that one of the reasons why production is a bit slow at the moment is actually developing a new kind of clamp that clamps onto the frame itself, so that you can, and I think, if I'm not 100% wrong, I think he wants to do away with this fastening on the top. This one, I think this is going to stay. I think he wants to have do away with this one and make a support so that the tank is held by the frame like it is on an original one. I think I've seen some photos of that, but I can't quite remember how it was. But it's some sort of clamp and rubber thing that you screw onto the frame and then slot the tank in. So interesting. I obviously, in this video, I am going to try as hard as I can to fit the mid-range fuel tank. Because I love my toolbox, and yeah, I think just crack on and get that done. I've only not got much time. Time is of the effervescence. I'm going to do this slightly different. I'm hoping this will fit. Because the Sledgehammer vibrates like a mofo, I am going to be attaching the bracket, this one. The slots on the rear of this bracket quite long, so you do have quite a lot of wiggle room there. So I am hoping, like worst case scenario, I'm going to have to elongate those slots a little bit. But what I'm going to do is use these rubber isolating buffers for the rear bracket, and I think I'll also put some rubber in between the frame and the bracket for the tank as well there. This is really overkill, so you probably don't need to do this if you haven't got, but like I'm a little bit skeptical to aluminium tanks after the escapades I had last year. So this will attach to the frame. This is where you fit your seat bracket. These are, incidentally, 2 centimetre fat rubber isolating rubbers for an exhaust, I believe. And they're actually branded Polini, so I imagine it's for the exhaust. I bought these from Scooter Centre, so I'll be using 2 of these at the rear just to completely isolate it from the frame, the tank. The thing is, the tank You have got some area under the loop here, obviously, which is about 2.5 centimeters, I think, when I fit these to the last tank I had as well. And hopefully I'll be able to use these, and let's see if this puppy fits. And if it doesn't, we have to give Paul some feedback. But I am a magician when it comes to shoehorning stuff into my scooter. So the first thing I did with this tank was I washed through it with water on my veranda, and I dried it out just to make sure that there's no shit in there. It looked pretty clean, actually, to be honest, but as I say, belt and braces. So I washed it out with hot water, and I used a heat gun in the area where you fit your cap for about an hour on low warm, just to dry it out. And when I came out this morning, it's been toasty and warm last night, so when I came out this morning, the tank is completely dry. So the first thing I think I have to do is fit the fuel tap. And the fuel tap of choice is this one, OMG from Scooter Centre. When you're fitting fuel taps, make sure that you don't have the ones with the plastic bit on the turn the nozzle part, because they have a tendency to snap. So these are good quality. Fast flow fuel tap, fitting in there, and then I'll fit the bracketry to the scooter, I think. So as you can see, the tank actually sort of fits with those isolation rubbers I fit. But because of, this is the nature of the game, and I wanted to show you this, my trying and failing, as we say in Norway. The problem with the Series 2 is this bracket here, I'm pointing my finger at, that is sloped forwards. So the fact that I fit those isolating rubbers in the top there has brought the tank down, and it means that it's catching on the bracket itself. I reckon, and as you can see as well, these slots, I wouldn't have to elongate those either if I could use those rubbers. But as it stands now, I can't do that because it pushes the tank further down, which does mean the tank catches both on the bracket here, on the frame loop here, and even though when I fit my last tank, let me get my light in there, can you see that? There you go. Even though when I fit the RT tank, I had to cut the end of the remaining trunnion that fastens the toolbox into place, it is catching there as well, and that's going to make some nasty vibrational noises and probably dig into the tank, which is not really what I want to do. So what I've decided to do is use the method that I used for the RT tank, just to isolate them, is I'm going to cut these rubbers down here. These are rubber buffers that fit on my seat catch there, and I fit the rubber underneath to hold the tank up. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these down to 1 centimetre because of the leeway I've got on the bracketry. I think that's going to fit fine, and it will help isolate the tank a little bit more. Like I said, boots and braces, it probably fit fine if I just use the, not probably, I know it will fit fine actually. So we're almost good to go on this Oiltek mid-range tank design, because it will fit nicely with the original type design. I wonder though if we could make the bracket so that it had like a bend on it, so it come further back there, so you could use isolating. If you could bend this bracket, you can see it's touching the tank there. Make this bracket so that it bends backwards behind this plate that's on the loop. Yeah, but that's just me thinking. It's probably totally unnecessary, and unnecessary faff from my side. It's just, like I said, I really don't want this thing to vibrate to bits, so I want to give it the biggest chance as possible. So yeah, because that bracket doesn't need any more modification, I'm just going to cut these rubber buffers down to 1 centimetre, 10 mil, and I'll fit it the standard way. Right, well, the tank is in, and I've actually got more questions than answers, to be honest. The reason why I say that, I think the reason why Oiltek haven't got any feedback on the tanks they've already sent out, they were hoping to like sort of prototypes, because my scooter, my Series 1, as you know, this is a scooter I tried to shoehorn, and I had to end up using a hammer, shoehorn a Asian mid-range tank into it. And it is notoriously odd for fitting medium range tanks. But this went in absolutely no problems, even though I've fit 10mm buffers on the underside of the bracket. So what I have to do is show you around. I've got my light in here. I'll show you around. Hopefully that'll zoom in enough for you to be able to see that I have got 3mm maybe between the trunnion that holds the tank in place and the bolt. I have, however, when I tried to fit the Asian tank, I did, however, modify the toolbox slightly. I will show you what I did there soon on another toolbox, but you can see there is air all the way through. Just to get my light action going on here, let's have a look. You can see loads of room under the tank. I particularly like the way the fuel tap is placed on the tank. It is moved back slightly. I'm not sure if that is by design. I think it is, if I remember rightly. It is by design at the fuel tap, so there's like loads of room between the silent block and fuel tap. And do I have to shine my light from the inside out? Maybe, if I can get it in there. It's really hard to see, but I have got room between the tank and the frame, no problem whatsoever. And you've got some leeway as well here on the bracket, obviously, just to move it down a little bit if you need to. So that isn't a problem. It is not touching. Let me see if I shine my light the opposite way. Have a look. Can you see that? I think that's pretty clear. You can see that the tank is not touching the bracket at all. The bracket is, however, touching the frame, but I've fit some... I'm lying. Yeah, no, yep. It might have touched the frame. We've got two little rubber grommets that are glued on there, and there is clearance all the way around on both sides. So I'm not sure why he hasn't put these in production, to be honest, because at least on my scooter, they fit perfectly. And then you can see cob placement, loads of room around the cob there, no problem whatsoever. And even the fuel cap fits where it should do. And I managed to fit the what's it called, fuel tray and the felt underneath. If you think I've got a strange cap on here, that is because I am fitting the CanLam, what's it called, fuel gauge. You can see it there. That's a video that is on the way. Why did you think this wasn't going to fit? It is absolutely spot on. Now let me show you the toolbox before I go. So here we've got the toolbox from, which is also a Series 1, that one there. And what I did on my toolbox in my Series 1 is, this one looks like it's already, was mine a reproduction or something? Because you know the hooky bit on here, this is straight on this tank, but on my tank that was like pointy So I've modified it so that it goes straight like this one does. This, I imagine, is the original one, because I don't think you can get production tanks with a hole in there. Well, there might have been differences at the factory, but the only thing that would maybe catch, if I didn't do it earlier, would be the hooky bit here. Because if you look at the bottom there, you can see the hook is deeper. So what I've basically done is cut off, it's about 1 millimeter or something like that on the top here. This one looks like it came like that from the factory. So that could be a bit of an anomaly. One thing you can find as well is if you don't fit the toolbox correctly, if you tighten the trunnion at the bottom first, you'll end up with a tank that is lopsided a little bit, and the rubber on the toolbox, I think on the rubber on the toolbox isn't touching the frame where it's supposed to be, and it sits lopsided, which will push this bit out a little bit further towards the air filter, or in my case, the fuel tank. So what I've got to do now this evening, when I leave you, is fit a new speed sensor, button all this up, finish fitting my fuel gauge, which looks rather snazzy there from Cambridge Lambretta, and I am good to go, I reckon, which is super cool. So I am absolutely chuffed to bits at the fact that that fits, and I find myself in the possession of a long-range fuel tank, which hopefully I won't need. Yes, it's really good that you make 100% sure that stuff fits before you send them out to the customers. But yeah, this, Paul, Mr. Oiltek, this fits fine, mate. The only thing is the modification, maybe, if you're unlucky, the maybe modification of the trunnion holding bit on the tank. Because I don't think, it seems such a shame. I sort of understand the business aspect of it. If you shorten it by 2 or 3 millimeters, then you won't have problems with the trunnion touching. And obviously I had to shorten down the trunnion itself, the screw. I had to shorten that down once I've fit it. That I did that last time, not for this tank, but for the other tank I had. So you would avoid that if you shortened it, but I'm not sure how much literage would you lose by doing that. You could make like a cutout in the middle of the tank there for that, but then that means more welds, which I understand is not a good thing. Maybe if you angled it slightly, I don't know. That's not my problem. But as it is, this fits my scooter, my lovely Series 1 Sledgehammer, and it means that I'll be taking this to the rally to Bergen. So on that note, I will love you and leave you, and I will see you all in the next one. And don't forget, if you like this kind of stuff, give me the old thumbs up, do the old subscribe, not far off 10,000 subs, which is really cool. And actually, this time next month, I should have 2 million views. 2 million, which is pretty amazing. Yes, anyway, ta-ra.